once you finished the first draft, that the book did a bit of a turn and went a different direction, or you're very much going to stay on a particular path and just finesse it?
With this series, from the certain things stayed on path, but one of my characters took a turn in a direction that I was not expecting him to take. Mm-hmm. So in the book, I actually have 3 boys, and I had laid out the role for each one of the boys. And while my protagonist, my main character, stayed true to his path, the other 2 kind of swapped roles on me, and I was not expecting that to happen. So that's always shocking to me. I usually have a character that will not do what they're supposed to do, and it does change the course of the book. But that was okay, because it actually worked out for the better. So, you know, don't, if you're starting out writing, try not to hold so tightly to your idea. You know, go with the flow, because if your story changes direction on you, or a character changes his role on you, it's probably because they're supposed to. You know, the story is going to take care of itself if you let it. And I've learned that. Don't box the story in, and don't box your characters in. Give them some freedom, and they will never steer you wrong. So if the story twists on you, don't panic, just follow it through, because chances are that's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, I completely agree. I remember writing a particular book. I've written a few children's books, and I had planned similarly like yourself, and then all of a sudden it just sort of went on a bit of a turn, and then once I read it back, I actually much preferred it than what I was initially thinking of it to begin with. But you've got to allow yourself that freedom, just to let your subconscious take you on that path, because it's quite amazing what can come out of it.
Right, it is. And it's fun. It's fun when those surprises happen, because then you're kind of discovering your story for yourself, and you're discovering your characters for yourself. And that was fun. It was fun for me. It was surprising, but it was fun. So
and with your characters, do any of their characteristics or parts of their personalities mimic some people in your life?
Oh yes, absolutely. I think my protagonist, Wil, is he's a bit of a dreamer like me. He loves fantasy. I grew up in a household that really encouraged fantasy. My daddy is a huge fantasy buff. He played role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons, and I grew up with that. My siblings grew up with that, and we read fantasy books, and we watched fantasy movies. And so a lot of Wil's personality is a little bit like me. But yeah, I think as writers, you write a little bit of yourself into your books, but you also pull from people that you know, and you may not even be aware that you're doing it. I've had some of my students, I'm a teacher, read some of the books in the series, and they always look at their classmates and go, he acts just like you do. So they even see each other in, you know, I wouldn't have done it this way, but this is totally how you handle it, you know. And so they see each other in it. And I don't know if that just comes from my years of teaching this age group. You know, you start to see how kids behave, and that's just, you got to go with it. You can't make them adults in the book. They're gonna, you know, react to things more than they're going to sit down and try to think it through. So.
Definitely. I didn't realize you were a teacher as well.
I am, yes. So I've taught 7th grade, which I loved. I love 12-year-olds. I love that age group. They're just fun. You know, things are happening with their bodies and their minds, and I love it because they want you to treat them like an adult, but you know, then if you mention, you know, some little cartoon like that, they all go to pieces. And, well, which one is your favorite, Miss Carroll? Because I like this one. And so I love that age group. And now I am teaching high schoolers. I'm teaching juniors, 11th grade. So I've got 17-year-olds, and of course they're interesting because they're ready to graduate. You know, they've got one more year to go and then they can graduate, and they're all about working their jobs and making their money, and they don't have time to read Fahrenheit 451 because they've got dates and they've got sports, and so you know, it's fun. It's a lot of fun with these kids. So
yeah, there's a big gap between teaching.
it is.
Mm.
It is.
They're very different demands there.
They are. But I've kind of got a kid's personality anyway, so I can usually get right in there no matter the age group and roll with whatever they're doing. So it makes it a little bit easier when you can do that. So
yeah, for sure.
It's fun.
So tell us a little bit about your second book then.
The Convergence, which is this one right here, it picks up where the first one leaves off. And in this one, I actually get more into the fantasy aspects of it. I mean, you know, the first book is all the setup, who the characters are, how they come together, how they meet, and the introduction of the fantasy figure. And then in the Convergence, I really kind of, you see my unicorn there. I don't know if you can see his horn, but he's got his unicorn, which the kids love the unicorn. They get really excited about the unicorn on the cover. But you get into the dark magic starts to appear, and it starts to the villain in the book is a character named Giselle, and it's her job to gather the secret keepers and try to steal what they know about magic from them.